Someone's gonna be mad at me. I told nobody about this, and I have to add a ton of time for all the follows that just happened, so oops. Okay, there we go. Hello, welcome in, Super Death. How's it going? Welcome in. Thank you so much. Congrats on the first. Let's go. Hi Ty. Surprise pop-up stream. Let's go. Dude, oh my god, Super, you have no idea what it is. That's actually crazy. First chat followed by getting first. That's actually wild. First is usually very, very competitive around here. What's up, Eco? Thank you, Ori. What's up, Silverstar? How you going? Welcome in, welcome in. What's up, Collie? Yes, this is a surprise stream. This is a surprise stream. You're so fucking cool. Can we watch right now? I'm sorry. I apologize for the ads, for the people who are receiving ads. Is there ads? There shouldn't be. Oh, are people getting pre-rolls right now? That's actually really annoying. Hey, what's up, Goober? What's up, Zipper? How's it going? I was playing Stellaris yesterday, and it turns out I picked a band origin for my Empire. I later learned that was the second time that I picked a band origin. Oh, I can't really watch it because I'm lighting through the channels and all the over and adjacent servers, but Ori spotted, Collie spotted. What's up? How's it going? Wait, the timer? Yes, timer. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. All right, sorry about that. Chat, I only have 1 hour. I have exactly 1 hour right now. So I do have to go after 1 hour. So I'm only gonna be live for 1 hour. However, there was a ton of follows in between streams. Much appreciated, everyone. Which also means that I have to add a bunch of time. So we're gonna go up over an hour. Give me just a second, chat. What's up? You're on stream. Yes, you are. Yo, thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate it. Congrats for adding a couple more minutes on. I'm only streaming for an hour. Don't worry. I didn't forget. It's at 2 per my or 3 per my calendar. Huh? No, yeah. Yeah, that's what Rain was saying. Rain is telling me right now that we were like, you guys asked if we could do 12:30, and we're like, can we push it back to 3? Thank you for 3. Yeah. All good? I'm sorry. Okay, appreciate you. Peace. Chat, that was Natsuno. I have a thing at 3, but apparently we did not agree that, or we were not on the same page for when that was. Thank you for the spray. Oh. Yo, first stream, to be fair, you weren't on my radar, content creator, so I should pay attention before. No, you're so fine. Thank you so much, Donut Master. How's it going? Welcome in, buddy. Welcome in. Oh my god, wait. Okay, there's Donut Master and Donut Hamster. I was totally getting confused before. I realize now. Oh my goodness, never mind. If it's only gonna be an hour, I won't be here for the stream. I'm sorry, Ty. I apologize. Wait, what's up, Sky? What's up, Moon? Chat. I was about to take a nap, then I got a jump scare. Jump scare, yes, this is a surprise stream. There's a lot of people asking questions about the compass. You guys did actually manage to add an hour just from follows, purely and only. You guys are wild. Thank you guys so much for following, everybody who's new here. Appreciate you a ton. But I know a lot of people had questions about the compass, and I wanted to take an hour to talk about those. That was Natsuno on the phone with me there just a second ago, because I have a tattoo appointment, so I literally can't stay any later than that. What's up, Orion Donuts? How's it going, Dragon Pokemaster? How's it going? Welcome in, buddy. OMG, guys, hello. Hi, Natsuno. I feel like I haven't talked to you in ages. Bully Oreo rule. Nice. What's up, Kit Kat? How you doing? Welcome in. Welcome in. I might be gay. Where's my vault messages at? I don't know. Ask the people you're trying to message in the vault. Thanks so much for the hi there. What's up, Hyper Gays? How you doing? Wait, it ain't working. What ain't working? 85 hours? I know, it's crazy, dude. It's crazy. That's why I quit my job. What's up, Devin? What's up? What's up? Tattoo hype? Yeah, 100%. What's up? Oh my goodness, dude. I should do surprise streams more often. Damn. Little Duders. Oh my god, thank you so much for reminding me. Oh, Mix It Up isn't on. Dude, they just got cheated out of their 1000 XP. I'm so mad. Oh, hold on a second. I'm so dumb. Chat, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. They totally got cheated out of their XP too. Dang. Who got first? Who got first? It was Super Death. I need to make sure I get them some XP. Can't ask them because they aren't responding. I just literally watched it and got curious. I'm definitely a blue, but not sure other than that. No, 100%. No, I feel you on that one. I feel you on that one. It could be definitely an interesting and difficult process to kind of figure it out. And one thing I can say is that it's intimidating when someone's super confident the first time. Like when they first see the compass, if they feel super confident in it, it scares me a little more, because the better you get to know the compass, the better you get to know what each word means, right? Because like when I say something like complacent, I'm using that with a level of bias, right? It is my literary understanding of complacency when I wrote that. So what it actually means may be different from how it sounds, if that makes sense. So you kind of have to take the wording with a grain of salt sometimes, and that can be the hardest part about it. What's up? Sure. It sounds like a refund is in order. Oh goodness. Jilly! By the way, can you fix my MC textures? Yes. I'm sad that they're broken. I don't know why they are. Let me go. If you guys ever have a problem like that with the textures, you can do F3T or okay, log out, log back in. Jesus Christ, thank you for the dance. Chat, if you're new here, I'm so sorry. This is just a thing that happens sometimes. Just kick my desk so hard. Goodness me, thank you, Natsuno. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, ads up, hands up. No talking about important things during ads. It's the rules, chat. It's the rules. Yo, what's up, Hyper Gays? How's it going? This is why my compass understanding is basically like vibe soup. Yeah. And it's kind of like that sometimes, you know? And I mean, there is like a level of analysis that comes with it. But it's really just understanding more and more about the compass. And Eco just told me to take a shot of hot sauce. This is crack. We're going on Magma? We can go on Magma. If we need to draw something, I'd be happy to go on Magma. This is just a thing that happens sometimes. Yes, hold on. Let me go grab a shot of hot sauce, guys. Alright, okay, alright. Back from the ads now. Welcome back from the ads. Okay, it looks like there's still 25 seconds of ads left for some people, so I'm gonna wait a little bit before I drink that shot of hot sauce. I know that I've made that mistake before, and I usually have to do it twice, and I don't want to do it twice. What's up, Sport Guy? 15k redeem is crazy. I know, it's crazy, and it still gets redeemed every single stream. Who decided that the servers would be so active right now? What the heck? It's crazy. I don't know. I saw a video from 4 days ago about the compass, so I'm gonna just sit here and listen to you ramble. I do some game development. Have a nice stream. Yo, thank you so much, Hyper Gaze. I would love to hear more about your game development if you're down sometime, but I really appreciate you for being here. All right, I must bully you to describe the regressions. Like, I need you to describe what the weakest points you describe that break down and how under regression they act. I understand what you're saying. I haven't been able to figure out anything about the compass deeply, and it takes time, right? It takes time and elaboration and being with the compass for a long time. Okay, chat, before I continue, there's a redeem. So stream gets kind of chaotic. I'm gonna do my best to stay professional and explain things. However, I'm also gonna take a drink of this hot sauce right now because someone redeemed that. I'm having a great time, chat. I don't know about you. I want to steal your doppelganger hoodie, Rob. Mark my words, I will steal it. Come take it, Munchie. Come take it from me. Oh my god. To all who's news here, just say Ori hates chat. I do not hate chat. Regressions are a mess and are so moons right now. It's Orleans right now. I don't think they're as messy as they sound. I think there might be misunderstanding with that. That specific conversation pack. But TLDR, for anyone who doesn't know, when it comes to, you have a super archetype and you have a sub archetype. Everything that I was talking about in the video. Wait, we're at 85 hours? Yeah, Speedy happened. There's a $800 donation that came from Speedy. Kind of crazy. It was a total of $1,000 split up over 2 days. It was crazy. Excited for the hoodie, yes. Or in fact, I do not hate chat at all. I love Ori saying I'm going to try to stay professional. We all know Ori is red and this stream ain't happening. Shh, we only have an hour, chat. Couldn't figure it out, right? But I don't see where the joke part of that is. Gosh dang it. I do love chat. So for anyone who doesn't know, you have what's called a super archetype. Your super archetype is what I'm talking about in the video, right? So if you've seen the video, if you've talked about what your archetype is, we're referring to your super archetype. We just call it your archetype. However, you have what is called a sub archetype. Your sub archetype is based on your lean, which is basically your second place endo. So, okay, actually, I think it might be time for magma. Chat, I'm gonna use a little drawing tablet here. Where's my compass stuff? Here we go. Okay, so this is actually not completely made by me. Some of this is made by me, some of it was made by the community. You guys are able to join this magma if you'd like. I'm gonna go ahead and copy this link real quick. Hey, what's up? Peachy the loser. Oh goodness. Welcome in, welcome in. Apparently I can't pin that. Let me pin that. There we go. Okay. This is magma. You guys can draw here as well. So if you guys jump on here, you can draw. Please don't make bad use of it. Otherwise, I'll have to remove it. So don't do that. What's up, Coolified? How's it going? Welcome in. I'm so fucking cool. Real. With that magma? Thank you, sport guy. Okay. So for anyone who hasn't seen it before, basically, your sub-archetype is based on two things. It's based on your lean, which, if you were to imagine your archetypes, or if you were to imagine your endo, excuse me. Let me go grab this guy. Yep, this is the one where I was explaining it. So, right here, if you imagine your endos actually kind of have, like, a scoring system, is what I've been calling it. It's not literally that. But if you could imagine, let's say I have 60% red, 30% green, and 10% yellow. This would mean that I am a red-leaning green. Because my endo is predominantly red. Like, I'm going to show most red behaviors, and my behaviors are going to stem from a red endo. However, I am going to have that green aspect that will tint my behavior a little bit. It's not like you have two separate endos or anything like that, but it's that my actions will be somewhat modified by the fact that I have a 30% green endo. If that was an example. Perspectives works a little bit differently because you can't be, for instance, I can't be a red leaning red. That's not how that works because we're just checking what second place is. However, you can be a blue with a blue perspective. So exos work a little bit differently. If I were to take the exos, right? Try to draw this compass a little bit, really shoddily. Okay, so if this was the exo chart, right? And I can point, you know, this way, or I can point this way, or I can point this way. What a perspective is essentially kind of like a lean outside of that. It's like your exo lean. It functions mechanically differently, but we're not gonna have to get into all of the nitty-gritties with that right now to explain what we're explaining here. TLDR is that you have a perspective. So for instance, if I was a blue with an orange perspective, then I will have blue tendencies. In this case, what we were talking about with the red right here, this would make me a captain. However, I will have some orange tendencies, whether that be through complacency. Maybe I'm complacently empathetic. That would be a blue with an orange perspective. Or perhaps I'm a purple with a purple perspective, which means I just act purple squared. Essentially, it's kind of what that means. So you can kind of mix and match those a lot of different ways, and they make what are called sub-archetypes. So using an example as before, if I was a captain, so red, blue, and I had a green lean, and let's say I have a purple perspective. What that means is that my sub-archetype is green, purple, because of my purple perspective, which means that I'm a captain-leaning conductor. So essentially, that is your sub-archetype, and when you put all of that into perspective, instead of having just 9 archetypes, you realistically have 72 archetype, like, mixtures that you can make, right? And that's not even including the actual regression map. The regression map is a whole nother story unto itself. But for right now, what we have right here is you have a lot of different ways that you can mix and match how your archetype works. And it makes it kind of more granular about kind of what an archetype looks like. It's why 2 geniuses might not look exactly the same as each other. Why, you know, 2 captains may act viscerally different from each other. Look, you know, funny story about Ty being conductor lean. Sky, you're gonna think this is funny. Eco, you're gonna think this is funny. Ty's conductor lean is a mercenary. That's the regression for Ty's lean, and I think that's so funny. Add regression, you go into 3 digits. Yeah, no, it gets super big. I thought you get 1k XP with not. Yeah, no, the XP didn't work because I didn't have the application open by accident, but I believe that I can. What is it? So many level 1s. Yeah, that's from people joining in for the first time. So you'll gain XP and levels and stuff over time if you're in stream. When we do polls, they'll usually be weighted with the amount of XP that you have. So stick around, lurk and stuff like that. It'll get you more XP. Let me see if I can go ahead and grab that. The XP for them. Can I go add XP? There's no. Who was it? Yo, what's up, Chaotic and Lucky? How's it going? Welcome in, welcome in. I need to figure out who that was so I get their name right. There it is. Super Dad. You gonna let me do that? I think that might have worked. I'm not sure if that worked though. This is cry, chat. This is cry. Okay. Hey, I saw this RPG system literally reach mine and came here to learn more, and from the video it looks like I was a genius, but I had some thoughts on being a little conductor. So what would it mean if my archetype, and how would you describe it? Yeah, so that's huh? Yes, correct. So yeah. Oh, I'm referring to those regressions. So yeah, basically exactly as you said. So lean for endo, perspective for exo, and if you take your lean and your perspective together, you get your sub archetype. I think I've referred to the regressions as sub archetypes before, and I wanna clear that up. That is not correct. That or it's moved around too much. I don't know. My brain is too frazzled for this. Talking about a genius. So being a genius does mean that you can't have a conductor sub-archetype. We were actually referring to somebody just now who has that exact lineup right there. I don't know why I'm so fixated on this, but I am. Well, I appreciate it. I'm glad you're having fun. Do you mind giving a short explanation here? Regressions are entirely, what is that? Want to go in detail on some sub-archetypes, or maybe show us the regression map? The regression maps I haven't shown a ton of, and kind of on purpose yet, because I gotta keep something secret, I guess. But I would be happy to go... Are regressions involved with the third place endos? Not really. There's not really any... okay, so realistically, yes, but not in any way that's recorded or that has a name or anything of that nature, right? So whatever your third place endo is pretty much absolved from what the compass is mechanically, at least for this moment. Realistically, does it have an impact? Yes. However, the impact is probably going to be negligible in comparison to everything else, if that makes sense. What's that? Oh, regressions. I'm sorry. Yes. Regressions involve your second place archetype, not your third place. I'm just confirming that. I was talking about third place archetypes. Oh, or what are your thoughts on me being a genius? I think you could absolutely be a genius. I would have to interact with you more to really get a standing on that, but I could definitely see it. Love having the new people talk compass. It throws me off a little, but I adore it. Honestly, same. I'm gonna kill. Wait, what? You're gonna kill me if what? Why are you gonna kill me? I want regression details. Whoops. Thank you so much for the hydrate. I appreciate it. You guys need hydration. Hydrate. Okay, so when it comes to a regression map, hold on, let me see if I can grab a regression map real quick. I was just looking at one. Okay. Okay. Let me see if I can grab... I'll grab another one. I'll grab a different one this time. I'll grab another compass regression map. But a lot of these regression maps are wrong, unfortunately, which is one of the reasons that I kind of am hesitant on showing them, because a lot of these regression maps are incorrect. Because a lot of the convention changed. Is that correct? That's still correct. No, that's not correct, because this is here, and this is... Yeah, no, that's wrong. Conductors is wrong. This one is correct. Here you go, Sky. A little treat for Sky. This is the Inquisitor regression map. So this is an example of a regression map right here. So at the very top we have Inquisitor, which is the name of the upper archetype. Yo, thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate it. What's up? What's up? Appreciate you. Congratulations for adding a little bit more time to that timer. What, a lot of convention changed? Fascination? Yes, yes, a ton of convention has changed over time. Before it went public, but it has changed a ton. When executive, one day. What's up, Point Sage? How's it going? What I'm doing, but I don't know what to do otherwise. Honestly, I feel you on that one. So at the very top is Inquisitor. So this is a non-regressed Inquisitor. Is called an Inquisitor. Surprise. A green lean Inquisitor is a merchant. So merchant is a green lean Inquisitor regression. That, aka, when I say regression, what I mean is somebody under stress or somebody who is collapsing due to stress. Aka, you're kind of like, not immaturing, but you're regressing. So a green lean Inquisitor will regress into merchant, whereas a red leaning Inquisitor will regress into academic. A full regression, which means that you have completely collapsed, you're at your, rock bottom of behavior. What? Oh, is it? Let me go check. Have you written it?
It's not from him. It's not written here.
Okay. Academic is... Yeah, no, they are backwards. See, I told you they're wrong all the time. So this one is conveying an immature yellow but a mature purple on the academic side. That's backwards. Merchant is gullible but practical. Academic is judgmental, observant. Hypothetically. Wait, that's green? No, this isn't green. Oh, wait, what's green? Level -4 is so real. Regression is off endos? Kind of. It's off your endo lean. Right? So if you are, so an Inquisitor is yellow-purple, right? So yellow-purple archetype. If you have a green lean, you would be a merchant regression. If you were a red lean, you would have an academic regression. That's what your lean is on your endo is what decides which way you're going to regress. And this is kind of like, when it comes to like narrative and character building, this is kind of like the character arc, right? Is that at the very bottom, at the very, very bottom, that is a full regression, and that is silencer in this case. So, for instance, if you have a character arc that goes through the Inquisitor character arc, then you would have a silencer to begin with. That's assuming that some pretty strong regression, some very, very strong character flaws. However, you could have a silencer, and then over time they progress into either merchant or an academic, and then they finally progress into Inquisitor, probably around the all is lost phase of a narrative. Whatever, you get the point. Holy shit, I could get a notebook and write stuff down. This is generally like a college class lecture. We're learning terms like regression and how those affect our main subjects. That's kind of the idea behind it, right? I mean, take it with a grain of salt, this is just kind of for funsies, but I'm Genius with Trickster Lean. What is that called? Genius with Trickster Lean is a preacher. Yes, the green lean for Genius is preacher. So are they like enneagram types, or their directions, or disintegration? Kind of, yeah, in a way. The enneagram will line up to another number on the enneagram. This doesn't work exactly that way. All of the regressions are unique to their archetype. So like, for instance, if you were... So the mirror side of this, right? So on the merchant side, you have a yellow leaning green as a merchant, but a conductor, which is a purple green leaning yellow, is called... That's the anarch?
Anarch is a maestro.
Goodness me, kill me. That would be mercenary. Thank you. Mercenary. So they're different from each other. They're similar to each other, but they're still different from each other. Whereas the enneagram will lean into another enneagram, which it might function somewhat similarly. I guess just mostly semantically different. What makes a green lean academic? It's just how it is. It's just the way that Okay, merchant is the title for is basically the title for an inquisitor with a green tinge. That's basically what that means, right? It's not saying, oh, you're like this because you're green. It's saying that we categorize this as a green lean. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. So merchant is a regressed inquisitor with a green tint. Because that's me. What's up, Mark? Anarchist Maestro. You are correct. It is anarchist. I said it wrong. Thank you. Then if it's for the leans, why is it called a regression? Because if you're at the Inquisitor top, at the very top, then you have no regression whatsoever. Whereas a merchant is a regress version, right? It means that you have some character flaw in the moment because due to stress or due to overstimulation or what have you, right? And it's just saying that it depicts. Okay, actually, hold on. Let me take a couple steps back because Malik, what's up? How's it going? Welcome in. Just, you know, I'm literally typing out every word. So how does flat character art work? No regression? Generally, yeah. If you were to have a flat character, you would just pick one of these guys and you would just say they're that. They're just that the entire time. That is a static character. So when it comes to the compass, one of the assumptions that are made, or at least one of my personal assumptions that are made, is the idea that maturity is homogeny, right? So when it comes to maturity, the idea of maturity is that society is a baseline of averages, right? So society is made up of the average human. It doesn't matter who anybody is or what anybody is, but if you were to take the entire cultural population of any sample size, right? Their perfect average is society. That is maximum maturity. So maturity is homogeny. It's pulling away from your character flaws and from your personal individuality in order to influx communication, right? So if we all act the same, we can communicate better. That is the idea behind maturity, right? So in order to be more mature, I need to step away from myself. That does not mean permanently, and that doesn't mean I should do that in my private life. However, that does mean that when we're sitting in a room together in a public space, I'm going to be mature, aka closer to the societal average, in order to basically make it so that I know that we're speaking the same language. Because if we're both mature or homogenized in this case, then we can both speak at a similar rate and say the same things and know what each other mean. But when I go home, I won't necessarily be that way. I'll go back to myself when I'm in a private space or when I'm with my friends, when I'm with my family, whatever. I will go back to my standard state where I don't need to be mature all the time. That is what I'm referring to when I say maturity. I'm not saying literal maturity like how good you are at dealing with, you know, your own personal introspective problems or anything like that. Lazy Sunday, let's go! Thank you so much for the hydrate. I need to get more water. Oh no, I have another water right here. Let's go. Thank you for the hydrate. Big words. I feel like it might be yellow, blue, purple if that's possible. It kind of is. You can have a blue with a purple perspective or a purple with a blue perspective. One of them will be more prominent. So either the blue or the purple will be more prominent, but that would mean that you're either an inquisitor with a blue perspective or a lover with a purple perspective. They feel different. If you were to meet two of them, they would feel different. What archetype would Hulk be? Hulk is a really interesting one. I think I would have to start with red. I think would be more likely than anything. I would say probably Captain. Probably Captain Hulk, if I was to say a random guess out there. Why don't we go quiet there for a moment? Huh? Did I? You and I both. I love water. What about these icons? For merchant, purple is crossed out Y. So the crossed out icon, and let me say, this is backwards. So merchant and academic have the wrong icons. They're swapped with each other. But the strike through means that is the immature in that regression, right? So again, knowing that they're backwards, academic is a regressed purple, but a mature yellow. So in the academic's case, that is judgmental, but observant. That's what kind of the strike through means. Anyways, back to the maturity thing. When I'm talking about the maturities that way, that's why I'm saying that if you have a lean or anything like that, what it's kind of exemplifying by saying that Inquisitor's at the top is that Inquisitor is homogenized, right? You still keep the individuality of your archetype, but naturally, the more mature or the more proper that you act in front of me, the less of me I know. or the less of you I know, because you're hiding that for the sake of homogeny or for maturity for us to be able to communicate efficiently. The compass, the entire idea behind the compass is to devolve that a little bit, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. The entire idea behind the compass is that I can, if you can slap this archetype on me, if I could wear this on my chest right now, we could skip that first step of homogeny, because I immediately have a better understanding quickly due to the simplistic nature of it, right? It's designed to be simple and easy to follow, easy to understand, right? So if I slap an Inquisitor emblem on your chest, I already know what I'm working with, right? I already understand my communication barriers and how I can rectify those if necessary, right? Hopefully that all made sense. I don't know if that all made sense. How long have you been working on this, Ori? Too long. Years. Probably at least years, right? Yeah, at least a year. It's newer than Utopia, but when Utopia was in development, the compass was developed and the compass was integrated. But it was way before Utopia was public that the compass was beginning design. Where do I find the compass? The compass is kind of a broad spectrum of places. You're gonna find it in a couple of places. For right now, I think the best thing that you can do is grab the link on Discord. There's a video on it that kind of describes it. I actually don't have a share link on me. Hold on, let me see if I can grab one. Probably a good idea to pin that, honestly. That's the wrong button. There we go. There we go. Okay, so... Oh my goodness, why won't you let me pin things? I cry every time. Oh my goodness. Chat, come back. Okay, so in the pinned message is the YouTube video that goes over the compass and what we're talking about right now. The compass is a model, right? It's a hypothetical model that describes people in a series of driving forces and filters, essentially. 3 for each, and they're all color-coded. So when I talk about blues and purples and oranges and things like that, what I'm referring to is the different aspects of an archetype. And all of that is stated in the video. You can go in the Discord and you can use the compass commands or go to the compass channels. And you can kind of get a breakdown of what each one of those are. When I say I love how this is less of an XY graph and personality definers I've seen, I try really hard. Okay, there's a lot of assets, or there's a lot of facets when it comes to coming up with something like this, right? And I think one of the important things is that it should be simple. It should not be difficult to understand. The colors are very purposeful in the way that it should be easy to pick up. It should be easy to notice, right? When I show you a symbol that shows an archetype, it should be obvious at a glance what it is, and that's what the colors are designed for, right? They're supposed to be quickly recognizable. Now, given that if I were to only show you one archetype, it doesn't give you that much information. It's not a ton to go off of, but it gives you an idea. It gives you a jumping off point, if that makes sense. However, it does go deeper, and we have to recognize that people are very, very complex. We are very, very complicated creatures. So one singular archetype is not going to describe an entire human being, right? Yada yada sonder. However, it will give us, like I said, a bounce point to kind of work from that point on. And that's what the compass is designed for, right? And as we get deeper and deeper, sometimes I'll say things like, I'm not 100% positive that's the case. Because in the video I describe things that I'm confident in. However, as we get deeper and deeper down into the compass, I get less confident because I haven't seen very many examples of it. You know, for instance, one of the things that we were talking about is that there's nature versus nurture, right? That's a common argument that comes up a lot in psychology. Yes, absolutely. Please, Malachi, I would absolutely love that. I should have just looked at my screen. Yes, Malachi, I would absolutely love that. If you have some friends in the RPG community, in lore community, in Botsy, anything like that, I would love to have you drag them over here. Please, please, please. Say hello, say hello. I really appreciate it. Super cool to have you here, Malachi. Thank you, thank you. Yada yada sonder. Okay, Mr. Jargon. Yes, precisely. But, guys, I have a question. What game should I get as a preacher? I'm interested in new things to play. Oh, that is interesting. I think you should play Utopia. Unbiased. But, oh goodness, what was I just talking about? I'm too red for you to pull my attention away. Thank you so much for the RR. I appreciate it. I was talking about archetypes with my dad and said I'm Archmage. You're an Archmage. Hey, that's yellow. Utopia best game. I appreciate you, Speedy. Love you, Speedy. What kind of genres do you like? Oh, that's a good question. Oh goodness, what was I just saying, chat? Oh no, someone help me, please. Red's on top. Chat, I've said and been told many a times that I have a really, really bad memory. I don't think it's my memory. I think I just fail to retain things. That's what the cat was. I saw a cat and clicked. I love that. Lots of lovers in my family. That's actually kind of real. It'd be like that. It feels like, I don't know. Oh, nature versus nurture. Thank you. Oh my goodness, I'm crazy. Remind me later then and I'll do it. Let's go. Nature versus nurture. So the idea behind nature versus nurture, which is a common debate in psychology, is what is derived from our genetics and from our biology, and what is derived from our environment. So the current hypothesis that I have about the compass is that your archetype, your super archetype, is derived from nature, aka your genetics and or your biology, and your lean and your perspective is from your environment, aka nurture, right? So as you grow up, the people around you will affect your lean, but your super archetype was decided basically the moment you were born. What that would also mean is that your lean is probably more prominent when you're really, really young than even your super archetype is at all, right? Because when we're really, really young, we can't really express ourselves in any meaningful way or in the ways that we want to necessarily. It'll probably show, but your lean is just going to be extremely heavy at that time in comparison to what it would be because your environment affects you so greatly when you're really, really young. That is if that's the case. Again, that is hypothetical. I don't know if that's true because I don't have enough examples of it. But that was my guess, right? That was my guess, is that your lean and your perspective is based when you were young, or it's based on your environment. However, I do believe that perspective always starts at blue. Now, this is getting really deep into it, so this is getting to really, really advanced topics about the compass. But there's something called a perspective coil, right? And a perspective coil is basically an infinite coil that starts at 0 and goes up forever. At the lower spectrum, like, I'm just gonna use abstract arbitrary numbers. These aren't real numbers that you should hold on to. But like, let's say that 0 through 10 is like where a basic animal would be, like a mammal, like a dog, or something like that. They're gonna have a perspective of 0 through 10 below what a standard human would have, right? And then upward in the hundreds, maybe in the millions, or whatever the ratio would be in comparison to a standard mammal, you have humans, right? And the perspective spectrum that humans are on are somewhere in there, and orange is above blue, so you have blue, purple, orange on that perspective coil. Yo, thanks so much for the follow, Rosengarten. I really appreciate you. Welcome in, welcome in. Or we talking to so much people who can't hear. Wait, am I like muted? Just when he started talking. Oh no, oh there's an ad. Oh no, okay. Hands up, hands up. I'll have to repeat some stuff. Thank you for reminding me of the ad. I appreciate it. I'm so sorry. I'm imagining the silent words because I can't hear. Oh, thank you. Love being in the 10% of people who have turbo. Honestly, that's kind of real. I don't know why more people don't get turbo. Okay, hands up, because ads are playing. Certified yapper moment. God, I love Compass. Thank you, I appreciate it. What do we get back to, huh? Okay, hands up for 20 more seconds. Hands up means I noticed the ad. It means I saw the ad, I see it now, and I'm gonna stop talking until the ad's up. Sorry, chat. I'm certified yapper. I just imagine that TikTok in my head that's like wabba dabba 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 wabba dabba 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 wabba dabba 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 wabba dabba dabba dabba. You can put that like scrolling behind me. Hands up, this is the FBI. FBI, open up! Okay, everyone should be back from the ad. I apologize. I'm gonna go back a couple of steps. Thank you for reminding me. For anyone who doesn't know, if I have my hands up, that means I see the ad now. I'm gonna stop talking about anything important. But going back, going really deep and really like into like the really nitty gritties of the compass, there's something called a perspective coil. So a perspective coil is like an infinite ray. It's a ray cast, right? That starts from 0 and goes infinitely upwards. Now, if we were to take a lower intelligence creature, right? Like reptiles, mammals, you know, whatever, what have you, below human equivalent intellect, then they would be on the lower end of that coil, maybe from like 0 to 100, let's say. These are abstract numbers, don't take them into consideration. But from 0 to 100, you have, you know, animals, essentially. Upwards in maybe the thousands, I don't know if that's an active ratio, but you get my point, you have humans. And maybe from 1,000 to 1,200 is the blue to orange spectrum. So like maybe like, let's use 300 because it's easier. So 1,000 to 1,100 is blue, 1,100 to 1,200 is purple, and 1,200 to 1,300 is orange. It's not like a comparatively bad thing or anything like that. It's just based on how much of the world you care to perceive, right? So if you feel like if your immediate surroundings are more important, then you'll have a tighter perspective. Whereas if you are more considerate of the world around you, if you're more affected by your outer world, then you have a wider perspective. And that's where that coil goes. The coil goes out, right? So that is to say that the perspective coil is kind of where a lot of the exo perspective design came from, or what the meaning of that was. And that is to say that when we're born, we're probably started like kind of lower in the zeros, essentially, in the 1, 2, 3, because we're a baby. You know what I mean? We can't actually perceive anything. We don't understand anything. We don't care. Not that we don't care, but we don't know anything. So we start at 0. AKA, when we grow up, our perspective always starts at blue. We don't recognize or care for the outer world because we're unaware of it completely. And then as we grow up, we'll figure out where our perspective is going to land in the standard human set of perspectives, if that makes sense. I'm glad genius is just autism incarnate, coming from someone who's autistic. I've heard that before. I'm creating a Pathfinder campaign, and one of my NPCs split into several pieces that each embody a piece of personality. So you got the trickster teacher, the butler, the depressed old sister, and energetic young sister. I actually love that so much, Echo Smith. Also, welcome in. Your messages aren't showing. Oh. Interesting. How's it possible for someone to have a personality at birth? That's kind of the thing, is that you kind of don't, right? It'll progress over time, right? But what your archetype is hypothetically, I don't know this, but hypothetically, it's encoded when you're born. How you express your personality is going to be relatively minimal when you are 0 years old. You know what I mean? But that is to say that your archetype is still hard-baked into your biology. Assumingly, I don't know that. That, again, that is a prediction, not a hard truth by any means. I'm undiagnosed, but very... Oh, I might have to start considering that. Coming from someone who has aggressive genius link? Yes, autism is genius. Wild. I'm beginning to assemble compass info on a Google file soon. Interesting. You should talk to Trank. I don't know if Trank do they? Eco, probably talk to Eco then. Trank has a wiki on the lore of S-X and things like that, but I think Eco probably has the most compass information. Got trickster in my jeans! That's one of the big things that is kind of interrupted the idea of the genetic archetype, right? Is that archetypes don't seem to have a strong pattern that I can tell amongst kin, right? So like if you go up the ancestry tree, it doesn't feel like the archetypes have a strong pattern to them. Unless it's like some kind of like regressive, or it's formulaic, or it's just based on things that we can't measure reasonably, then I don't know. It might be genetic, and it might just be that it comes from a bunch of like really awkward variables that I can never measure, or maybe it's just random. I don't know. I say thank you. I'm sorry about that. I guess my messages were auto-modded because I logged into my main account and I had to make a new one. Oh, I apologize. Well, welcome in. Thanks so much for being here. Copycat. Someone could fully genetic person. Yo, thanks so much for the follow. I really appreciate it. Someone could argue that one's super archetype, rather than being fully genetics per se, is determined initially by genetic encoding, but then changed by important life events, which is the leaning influenced by minor events. More so that the leans are the ones changed by your environment. So your archetype is immutable by your environment, hypothetically. What's up, great man? Thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate it. I don't know if that's true. I'm assuming that it's true. It's very much a hypothesis. But with this hypothesis in mind, your super archetype is immutable, minus substance, right? Maybe some substances, medications can change that, but otherwise it's immutable. Your lean and your perspective is completely akin to your environment. So your perspective and lean are modified based on your environment, whereas your super archetype, it just isn't going to move. Your sub archetype will, but your super archetype will not. I just came for the YouTube video. Is there a quiz I can make to know my archetype? I wish. No, unfortunately there's not. The reason that there's no quiz for the compass is because of how insanely quickly it would become obsolete and inaccurate. If I were to hand you a quiz, the problem with most personality quizzes, in my opinion, is that we answer them with our own very significant bias, right? People will come up to me after seeing the compass one time and tell me what their archetype is. And I think that's a very, very good way of going about it. However, I don't always presume that's going to be super accurate, because we have to get to know the compass better. We have to get to know, when I say, like, complacent, for instance, it may mean something different from how you would perceive it and what I mean for it, right? When just the word complacent by itself is variable at best, right? It is extremely semantic. So what it means is kind of up to interpretation until we get to know each other better, until we get to understand more examples of what complacency means. I can't describe the color red, and truthfully, I cannot describe what I mean by complacency until we've both witnessed several instances of complacency together. Now we have a meaning, a token for that word. So when it comes to the compass, it's really important, in my opinion, to take a little bit, to take a second, kind of figure out what we're trying to say with that, because it's not going to be super obvious, and I don't have a good way to iterate it until I do, I guess. So I can't become a conductor? I cry. I mean, I don't know. I just tell me I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, then you can. Easy peasy. Or just use magic. We copy personalities from those we live with. That's my theory on genetic traits, even autistic. That's kind of the idea behind the lean as well. And I think that there is a possibility that maybe with someone who is like personally stifled, or who has their expression stifled, will express more of their lean than they do their actual archetype, because they're not capable of expressing themselves in that way. So they express their environment, which is what the lean in perspective would be. Again, that's a guess. That's a prediction. That's not actual info. I think it's very hard to critique your own personality without bias, and it's very hard for others to find deeper reasons for the patterns in your behavior without an internal perspective. Yeah, I completely agree. And that's one of the big reasons that I wanted the compass to exist, right? I feel like the compass it's not a silver bullet, and nothing ever will be. No personality-based assessment is ever going to be perfect. However, it is a simple way to elaborate how I feel, right? How I see the world in comparison. If I'm an orange and you're a blue, we're gonna recognize that we see the world from two completely different lenses. But now, if I know that to begin with, I can communicate with you on a much easier level, being able to hurdle those obstacles before they even hit me in the face. There's a separation between things like genetic conditions and one's created via limitation. Autism, as an example, can sometimes be mimicked, but not fully gained through mimicry. Interesting. I have so many OCs that are just conscious AI. I love them so much. Please help. That's actually so real. Jarvis coded. It was so funny to me how how people interacted with the archetypes in the comments of the video. It's so fun to watch what people talk about. Also, what is up with the huge popularity for trolley derailing, dude? The trolley drift. It's so funny how often trolley drift pops up in the comments section. How fluid are we talking about when it comes to secondary archetypes? It can be pretty fluid. I mean, everything in the compass is genuinely really fluid. We just don't talk about it that way, because if we described it in its true fluidity, we wouldn't get anywhere, right? Because I can't measure that. I can barely measure, and realistically can't measure, the actual generic, hard-coded archetypes that are these boxes that we put people in. But that's what we can describe. So I'm giving you what I can describe, not what is necessarily genuinely true. Oh, how fluid can your sub-archetype change? Probably a lot. I mean, the older you get, less so, because, okay, here's how I see it, right? If I were to say, like the endos before, let's say I have 100 points in red, 30 points in green, 10 points in yellow. And whenever I make a decision, this is also predictive, this is just an analogy, let's say whenever I do something, right, I'm gonna put 1 point in one of those endos. So let's say I do something green and I put a point in green. Now I have 31 green. Well, if I put 50 points in green, I'm borderline green next to my red, right? Like my lean is almost taking over at that point. However, if I've lived a lot of life, let's say I'm 60 years old right now, and I have now 1,000 points in red and only 300 points in green. Well, that 50 points in green did almost nothing suddenly. You know what I mean? As experience happens, the more experience that is under our belt, the less each piece of experience coming to us means. So with that in mind, the younger you are, the more fluid your perspective and lean are. But the older you are, the more rigid it's gonna get. That'd be my assumption. I agree that super nature archetype is immutable because it is the base of how your nurture sub-archetype is formed. Whoa, okay. Fly away. I'm sorry. That said, I don't think super archetype is purely one endo and exo. Interesting. Okay. Admittedly, there's too much to get into for the stream, but perhaps later I could talk with you and figure out what archetypes some of my characters are. I would love to. There's now a channel in the Discord specifically for that. If you go to the What Am I channel in the Compass category of the Discord, that's specifically for going over what Compass you are, what Compass your characters are, what Compass completely separate characters are, family members, real people, I don't care. Whatever you want it to be, there is an entire channel specifically dedicated to that. So if you have anybody that you want to describe, I probably should make a forum channel for that, actually, so that you can collect everything in one post. That's actually probably a good idea. If you have not already, make sure to go grab the compass roll. If you go into Discord, top left, channels and roles, click it, click the compass. That way you can unlock all the compass channels in Discord. Ori is now 60 confirmed. I am now 60, let's go! Just a note, there's been 50 minutes of stream. That is correct, I only have 10 minutes left, chat. Or you're an old man. What was that, Sonny? Sorry. How to make an ill person on the screen nap? What? How to make my little person on screen nap? You actually, I believe you can do exclamation point sit, and they'll sit down. I don't appear to have permission to view any of the compass channels. Yep. So if you go to channels and roles, hold on, let me grab Discord real quick and I'll show you. So if I were to go into the Discord real quick, and right here is channels and roles. If you click on the compass right here, it'll give you the compass role, and then you will unlock these channels right here. I'm thinking that it's probably going to be a good idea to turn What Am I into a forum channel instead of a standard chat channel, just so that we can actually show all of them better. Switch to the archetypes entirely. I would like to pick myself as a lover with a trickster lane and even split between practitioner and perspective. So there, but not enough for the root archetype perspective. Tempest wouldn't even register, to be honest. Whack. Did sit work? Does sit work? I believe it does. I think I see. Yeah, I see them sitting. That's so cute. I love that. Yep. You can do exclamation point duel followed by someone's name, and if they accept it, then your little stream avatars will fight each other. How can I find the commands for the little guys? Yep, they should be right here? Question mark? Oh, there might not be the link for it. No, there's no link for it. There's some of the commands there. There's some of the commands there, but not all of them. There's a link to stream avatars. It's a full application, everything like that. Oh no, the complete all redeems, unfortunately. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see the duel. I would have accepted it. Complete all redeems, this is cry. 79 redeems, chat, 79 redeems. Babysitting. Check magma for little duders. Little duders? I love me some little duders. Ooh. Fish people. Fish. Whenever I see fish, I know it's Munch. I can assume that it's Munch. One of those two hopefully worked. There's also something fun. I'll let this battle royale. Oh, congratulations, Eco. I was gonna say battle royale. So this is a battle royale right here. So if you guys want to see your little duders fight, we can make him fight to the death real quick. Just a fun little funny haha. You know what I mean? Ah, dang it. Only one duel can happen at once. Yeah, that makes sense. I still can't find it. Which role do I click it to get? It's called the compass. The compass role. For some people, it wasn't working. You might have to close Discord and reopen it again. For some people, they had to because it just got introduced. You might need to reload Discord. It's called the compass. Yep. Keyleth is about to become a much heavier drinker. His weapon now takes stamina per throw, and I'm crafting alcohol. We used to regain it. That's actually kind of whack. Thank you so much for the RR. I appreciate it. I wonder why I'm associated with the word fish. Anybody's guess at this point. Go. Let me do some real quick things, chat. Okay, that should do it. Redo the battle, bro. I wasn't in there. What do you mean you weren't in there? What do you mean? You're in there. You far left by me. Haha. Never mind. I just failed an awareness test. Is all. No, you're so good. I love that so much. Me on a regular though, I would have an awareness score of 1. Chat. In real life, I would have an awareness score of 1. I'm so bad at retaining information, it's hilarious. I also failed the awareness test. Understandable. Have a nice day. Never win the battle royales, but I've seen multiple people win several times in a row. It gets kind of whack, honestly. It's kind of wonky. I don't know. Maybe it's rigged. All right, chat. I've got about 5 minutes left. Is there anything else that anybody else would like to ask? I'm going to do my best. I'm sorry, there's a lot of people in chat right now. So I'm going to do my best to answer them as much as I can. But does anybody else have any scrutinizing or like, not scrutinizing, I'm sorry, some like real heavy questions that they really want to get off their chest? All reds have low awareness. Trust. Real. Still can't find it? Find the compass roll. So next to Utopia, it'll be like YouTube, Twitch, Utopia, things like that. In there should be an option called the compass. Just wondering, is there anything we can do to help our delving deeper into the compass? Anything we can do to help you out? I think that honestly, just existing. Hearing stories, honestly, hearing what people do and how they interact. If we can get a strong compass model on somebody and watch how they interact with things, watch how they interact with people. I mean, honestly, just being in the community is excessively helpful, right? Because the downfall of any test like this is going to be sample size, right? What happens when one perfectly balances their super and secondary archetype? Good question. I don't know. I have no way to know when it happens, and if it happens, then I don't know. I think realistically, it's just extremely unlikely to happen in the first place. Because realistically, when you make decisions, you know, you're gonna enforce the one that you're better at, right? So the moment that one begins to take precedent, it's going to become more and more prominent as time goes on. Would be my assumption. I don't know if that's the case. It's probably possible. It's also possible that your super archetype would just take place anyways, or that you would front one. I don't know. I'm gonna waste all my chat points in the next 2 minutes, gang. Let's go, Kit Kat. Let's go. I do not hate chat. Thank you. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. But that means it could happen. And there's so many people it's practically guaranteed at some point. I mean, likely. And even if it did happen, who knows how long it'll last.
Ooh, ooh.
Thank you for the ooh. Fronting like a system? Silly. Kinda, yeah. So there was a concept that we talked about called root fronting. And basically the idea is that we are more prominent on our exo or more prominent on our endo. So like when I go into a public space, I either act red or I act orange, depending on what route I front. That could be tied to what your regression is. It also could not be. I'm not 100% positive. Can you be every color? Unfortunately, no. You can be up to 4. I mean, be up to 4 is kind of a tough statement. We actually have a meme in the community that is, if someone says that they're every archetype, they're green. We're all guinea pigs. Yes, exactly. Root personification is also a thing. Getting into some complicated topics. We should raid Coda. Is Coda streaming right now? Let's go. Bet. Yeah, I'd love to. Thanks so much for the Rec 100. I love that. All right, chat. 1 more minute. Or I'm curious if you agree. Do I act like a feral conductor sometimes? Often when sleep deprived. I'm more green when I'm sleep deprived. I don't think you act like a feral conductor. Personally, I don't think I see the feral conductor. At least I feel like you get conductory, but I don't think I see feral conductor. Feral conductors would be wild. I can switch my secondary with the snap my fingers and back unless I'm regressing. Interesting. True, that makes sense. Because of the trickster, yeah. What if you don't particularly connect with any of the endo types? Then, honestly, probably green. And it could just be a game of needing to know more, right? Sometimes the words don't match the meanings as well as they should, just because, you know, one thing to me is going to mean something completely different to you, and I can't, unfortunately, help that at this moment, right? It's just over time learning what each thing means. And maybe your sub-archetype is surprisingly prominent. If your sub-archetype is super prominent, it's even harder to figure out what your super-archetype is. Oh no, time's running out, gang. This was a nice stream to my first viewers. I'll try to join the next one. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much for being here. For anyone who doesn't know, I am currently on a break right now, so I may do some pop-up streams here and there, especially if people have a lot of questions about the compass and there's things that I can explain. I would love to do more pop-up streams. I am going to be back to streaming on April 4th. That is the current plan, is that I'll be back at April 4th. I just put my 2 weeks in for my job, so I should be doing this full time now. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. It's super awesome to have you here. We're going to raid Coda. Coda, call me. I love the quote you made for Captain, by the way. Friends and family above all else. When they want to do something, nothing can stop them except maybe themselves. It really resonated with me. I love that. That actually makes me really happy. That's really cool. Or just ignoring my redeem. What was your redeem? Oh, goodness. I didn't even see that. Oh, you got guide the raid? What was your guide the raid? Who are you guiding? What was the guide? Oh, whoa. It's not the Coda I kissed. Who would you like to raid? Who would you like to raid? I can change the raid. I still can't change the raid if you want to. I mean, Coda, but you didn't ask. Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. Chat, if you want to, go ahead and copy that raid message. I'm going to post a raid message in chat right now. Copy the top one if you're subscribed, the bottom one if you are not. Bottom one does not require any subscriptions to any channel to use. So post it in their chat. Let them know who sent you. I appreciate you guys a lot. Thank you for being here. Be nice. I love you guys. Thank you. Bye!
Hold R1 R2.